Three. Hey guys, Lynn Burke here, owner of Blues City Music in Memphis. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to be off-site at Diamond Amplification, the home of Diamond Amplification, Diamond Guitars, Diamond Tactical, Diamond Cases, everything Diamond's right here in Houston, Texas. And I'm with the owner today, Jeff Diamant, founder and CEO of Diamond. So today what we're going to talk about is bring a little bit of personality into what's going on at Diamond and let you hear from Jeff exactly where the company started from, especially from the amp side. Now we've got two versions of amps now. We've got the USA custom shop stuff and we've got the Vanguard import. So we want to talk about that, how it relates to the different price points. So it's going to be available for all players, not just high-end boutique players. We've got everything covered here, from the positron all the way up to the amp that's right behind us now, the latest offering, which is the 327 SD, a collaboration between Michael Soldano at Soldano Custom Amplification and Jeff here at Diamond Amplification. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff, let him talk about how this company started, what his vision was, what his mission statement is, and where we can expect it to go. So, Jeff, thanks for coming by and take care of us for us.
Well, thanks, Lynn. Good to see you here in Houston. I'll take that, right? Do you have the cue cards for me? I don't know what to say if you don't have any cue cards. So, I guess you'd ask me to kind of talk a little bit about where the company came from, right? Sure. So, I had a former career where I was doing nothing related to the music business other than playing and buying a lot of gear and learning about my gear like most other guitar players. And after 15 years of doing well in that business and making good money and not enjoying it, I decided I wanted to do something I enjoy, and I'd had a passion for amplifiers that started a decade or so earlier. The history really there is when I first started playing, I realized pretty quickly that the pros weren't playing what we could get at Guitar Center. Right. And I wanted to figure out, what did that mean, and what were they playing? So I sort of set out on a mission to figure that out, and I started learning about things like hot-rodded Marshalls and not having any idea what a hot-rodded Marshall was. So I started getting that education, and I started learning about modifying amplifiers. And back then is when I got to be friends with the legendary Bob Bradshaw. And then through Bob, Martin Golub, who was the amp guy at Custom Audio Electronics, and who's done amps for some of the most major tones that have hit the market. And over the years, we worked on a lot of things together. We did a lot of circuit designs, worked on a lot of amplifier modifications, and we had some really good stuff that had never seen the light of day outside of things that we'd worked on. And I'm like, well, I enjoy this, and I'd like to do something with it. So why don't we put out our products to the world and make available the things that we've come across? So that's when Diamond Amps was born, was out of that history and that experience. And before then, I'd worked on a lot of the Bradshaw rigs and stuff like that, and I'd been doing a lot of this work. I just hadn't really done it, I guess, professionally. And so I wanted to put those products out, and hence Diamond Amps was born, originally just with me and Martin, and it kind of grew from there. So that's where we came from.
Okay. So how about as far as where we are today? We've got the USA custom shop pieces, the Phantoms. Everybody knows what a Phantom is, the Nitrox, the Hammersmith, Heretic, and of course the latest offering behind us here, the 327 SD, that's just been released. So what else do you see in the future for that, as well as your Vanguard series?
Yeah. I guess kind of going most recent, the biggest thing obviously was the 327 that I did with Mike, and that was a really enjoyable experience for both of us. I think Mike's a fabulous guy, and of course, in so many ways I learned indirectly from what he was doing anyways. Mike, I've always said, was kind of the guy that really sort of modernized the high gain amplifier 3 decades ago. And and so for me, it was great to get to work with him because he's influenced all the things we were doing in some ways. We do things a little different in some ways and similar in some ways, but it certainly unquestionably was an influence. It's kind of in the way like Sabbath influenced all metal bands, right? So that was a great experience for me to get to work with him and to get to do something together, and for both of us to kind of go outside of our normal boxes, and for me to do something a little more Soldano-ish and him to do something a little more Diamond-ish was a really cool thing. I believe, and I think we've indicated recently in an interview, that we intend on doing something else together, and we actually just kind of finally started to realize what that product's going to be, but we're looking at sort of a late summer release on another amp together. That'll be, let's say, a more affordable U.S.-built amp, but we'll see the details when we release them. But that's going to be another thing. I'm enjoying doing the collaborative effort stuff. I'm actually doing some collaborations with Bob Bradshaw. We're doing an onboard guitar boost that can give you a boost resident in your guitar on a true bypass. And we're also building a dual amp selector that will be the first properly designed and actually one of the only couple in the market device that allows you to switch two heads safely into one cabinet. So when you want to go, whether you're at home and you have two heads in one cabinet, you want to be able to toggle back and forth between them, or whether you're going to a gig and you want to have both of your amps with you but you don't want to lug around two cabinets, this will be the only properly designed one on the market. That'll be at an affordable price point. So that collaborative stuff is a big thing. The other thing recently that we've really started to develop is our Vanguard series products, which you mentioned earlier. And the Vanguard series products was really just an intent to, for me, it was kind of like, I always said, it was kind of like the C-Series Mercedes when it came out. It was every bit of Mercedes and every bit of quality guitar, quality car, but it was affordable to a substantially wider range of the market. And that's what we wanted to do with the Vanguard series line. We took a long time before we would release anything in the Vanguard series line because I wanted to make sure it was done correctly. And the way we did it now was a way that we could say, hey, we can really attest to the quality of the products, and the quality of the products and the quality of the sound of the products, more importantly, is what you would come to expect for Diamond, but you can do it at a more affordable price point. So this year, of course, last year we released the F4, which was our first 100-watt 2-channel. You can buy it in the U.S. now for like $1,099. Of course, the Assassin and the Positron, which are now coming in combo versions, only by popular demand because I don't really understand the combo thing. But these sound really good, and so those came out in combo form, and then we're looking at a little 30-watt, like 25881 2-channel thing with reverb, another combo. That'll be like a $799 kind of product. So we're really going to try to expand on that. And I think I'm going to expand a little bit on our accessories line. I never wanted to do pedals, but I wanted to do things that made life useful for guitar players, like the loop switch, which allows you to make the effects loop of any amp switchable. I wanted to do, the Mac 2, which is your MIDI amp control, allowing you to switch your channels with a MIDI pedal, or the amp switch, which was a really well-designed AB box. So I wanted to focus more on those kind of things as well. It didn't make any sense to me to say, what we really need is a differently voiced and different looking new Diamond USA custom head. We've got kind of products that run the whole tonal gamut. So rather than doing that, I wanted to say, let's do some stuff that's more interesting or a little different, hence the collaborations, the new thing with Mike, and building up the Vanguard series products. So that's kind of what's in our near future.
Okay, that's great. And I didn't know anything about the amp switcher, or, the head switcher.
That's new.
Yeah, I'm running a tone bone switch bone, and I've run that. So I'd love to see what the differences are for the corrections on that, because I've run into some issues with that myself.
Let me see. First of all, you can't use it on solid state. Another one that you will have run into is going to be noise and switching, and another one you will have run into is going to be phase, and then the other one you will have run into, if you haven't realized it yet, is you can't have your trailing effects. So when you're switching from one amp to the other, if I'm finishing a lead and it's got a little delay on it, I want a little sustaining echo while I go back to my rhythm amp, you're going to chop that off. And what we did is we took, Bob's been doing this masterfully for 20 years now. The only problem was the only version of this you could get from him was a $1,500 custom piece. We took that design, put it into a more affordable package, and something really more palatable with just a 2-amp version but retaining the same design, the same integrity of the quality of the product, which will solve all of your issues. That's the point there.
And that's exactly what I've run into, doing that in amp demos. And for those that have seen my amp demo at Belmont University and some of the other ones that I do, it was from Jeff with his relationship with Bob Bradshaw that enabled me to get the only 8-amp switcher. So when I'm doing that, you know, it was thanks to Jeff. So one thing that you also may not know is, besides Diamond amplification and the DBZ, not DBZ, but the original guitars that are come from this factory, Diamond guitars. We'll talk about that in another video. Where we're going with that is Jeff's also a practicing attorney. Now he's kind of limiting some of his time, but you know, you're talking about a business professional that just didn't decide he wanted to build amps and build guitars and effects and gig bags. So he's got a business. Heavily business background. That's the same thing with me in Blue City. I mean, I fly for a living. I run a horse farm. So we've all got multifaceted, and we all know one thing in mind, and the mission statement is a good quality product, regardless if it's an import, regardless if it's made here in Houston, for a good price and with a good quality control and a good customer service. So that was one thing I wanted to mention on that. So the bottom line is you can catch us, Diamond Amplification. .com and the website. I always just hot link it for the guitars is going to be
For the guitars.
Correct.
Yes, diamondamps.com or guitarsbydiamond.com.
Guitarsbydiamond.com and diamondamps.com. You can always catch us at bluescitymusic.com. You can call me at 901-485-8250. Tweet, text, Facebook, any way out there. One other thing that Jeff and I have really gotten involved with is the web store adaptation to both businesses. Jeff really helped me from the ground up get Blues City Music on a full-blown web store website where you don't have to listen to me say a thing. You can just get on there and you can click and buy anything you want. And they've got plenty of good videos on there, plenty of good images, everything you need. So if you need anything from Blues City Music in regard to the Diamond Amplification umbrella, whether it's guitars, amplifiers, pedals, bags, cases, Blue City Music. So Jeff, thanks for coming. Thanks for helping us today, and you know where to find us: bluescitymusic.com. Thank you.